Okay, so should we call our meeting to order? The opening meeting law requirements have been met,
Yes.
and we adopt the August 29th agenda. Will someone adopt the 29 agenda?
I will. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay.
So Jean?
And review the minutes of the June meeting, are we reviewing them?
Well, I'll make a, Killian will second the adoption of the agenda.
They're reviewed then, huh?
That was to adopt the agenda. That was a second.
Okay, now,
First.
Well,
now we can
I
move
read
to,
them.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. I keep losing my video. The minutes from the June 13th meeting.
Okay. Motion.
Second the motion.
Is there all in favor?
Aye.
I think
Killian will abstain, as I was not at the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, now we'll go on to number 6, home delivered meals and congregate senior dining updates.
Okay. Okay. There's a lot that has happened with our nutrition program since we last met. So we will just provide an overall update of what is currently happening with our nutrition program. And so Ashley Brecky is here with me, who is the nutrition director. And so Ashley, jump in anytime that you would like. So to start out with, I just want people to be aware, probably most of you are, that the Rainbow Restaurant closed. We came back from the 4th of July holiday and learned, so at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., we learned that the Rainbow Restaurant had closed over that holiday weekend. And so just kind of a reminder of what Rainbow meant to our nutrition program. They were our 1 5-day-a-week congregate meal site, and they also provided a third of our county's home-delivered meals. So that was a stressful morning, stressful week. It's been a stressful time. We were able to talk to Dove, Grandview Care Center, and Ashley Pub. All 3 of those providers just jumped in and helped out. Happy to say we only missed 1 day of meals for those individuals that were affected in that home delivered meal program. So that was a surprise. So where are we at today? Wanted to let you know, and just to remind, I think everybody here is aware, home delivered meals are delivered 5 days a week to those homebound individuals in our county. So, current situation, we have Dove is providing meals to our northern part of the county. So Dove is providing to Oliva, Strum, and Osseo. We currently have Grandview Care Center that is providing to our Blair, Whitehall, Pigeon, Galesville, and Trempealeau individuals. And then we have Ashley Pub, who just started providing to Arcadia and Independence about 2 weeks ago. So we're 2 weeks into that situation. So wanted to let people know that Dove has decided to end their home delivered meal contract a year early. The reason given is due to staffing shortages. We've talked to them and they're not able, what they're saying, they're just not even, willing or wanting to do any conversation about, changing their mind. So we are currently exploring some options. The 2 options right now that seem the most positive, we've got 2 options. We've got Eau Claire County that is running a central kitchen out of Brackett. The address is actually Brackett, but that's near that highway patrol shop in Brackett, so it's close to Eau Claire. But it sounds like they would be willing to provide the meals. The situation would be then we'd have to have a driver that would go up into Eau Claire County and pick up the meals. Jeannie had us come and speak to a park, I guess would it be Parks and Rec meeting? Is that what the name of that is, Jeannie?
Parks, Economic Development and Tourism.
Okay. So Ashley and I went and spoke to that board, our county board meeting about a month ago, and surprisingly something very positive came out of that meeting, because there was an individual from that community, from that Osseo community, and his name is, remind me.
Buzz Sorgi?
Buzz Sorgi, yes. So he put us into contact with the Osseo Fairchild School District, and now we're having conversation with Osseo that it sounds like they may be interested in providing meals to that part of the county.
Oh,
So,
wow, how good. Well, that was
yeah.
good. I'm glad that happened.
Yeah. So sometimes, surprising things come out of the unexpected, right? And so, and that's something that we had wanted to explore at one point before we had Ashley Pub sign on for those meals at Wanik Center. We had reached out and tried to engage in school districts in that area, so specifically Arcadia School District, but they just didn't think that it would be the right fit for them at that time. But I think it is a concept that I think could turn out well. Osseo Fairchild has still got to go in front of their board and get the school district board behind the concept. We don't have any pricing yet on that, but it makes sense. They are aware that we do serve meals throughout the summer, not on holidays, but over what would be typical school breaks. They're aware of all that and feel like it's something they might be able to do. So it sounds fairly positive. So I wanted to let people know about that. Also just wanted to let people know just overall here in recent months we've seen somewhere between a 15 to 20% increase in our demand for home delivered meals. So that's pretty significant, really. So we're talking about maybe what would have been around 80. These numbers fluctuate greatly. Just want to let people know that. But we could have been talking about a 80 number of about 80 or so, 90 maybe a year ago, and now up to somewhere around 120. Is that what we were at last week? 135. Okay. So Ashley's giving us those numbers right now. So, and we think it's a combination of rising prices when you go to the grocery store, right? Everything's more expensive, and cost of gas is more expensive. So that, I think that's why we're seeing that jump.
Melissa,
Yes.
what is the criteria for the home delivered meals? Are people doing it out of convenience more? Or are these new people that are adding themselves to the mix doing it because there's a true need? Is there a criteria?
Sure. Yeah, there is a criteria. Ashley does most of the assessments for our home delivered meal program. So I will ask if Ashley could just kind of review what that process is.
So essentially, an individual needs to be 60 years or older or have a disability noted by a doctor, unable to leave their home other than medical, church, or an occasional, other type of appointment, and they really don't have anyone else that can step in and care for them or help provide what they need. So there is a criteria that we need to meet.
Okay.
Yeah, and the state is the one, the state provides us with that assessment tool, so that is consistent throughout, all of the counties are using the same, basically the same criteria. They tell us what that is. Yep.
Melissa
Yes.
and Dora, I heard Beth Killian's voice this morning. Is she a new member of the committee? Could we just skip for a second, put on pause and do introductions and let me know if there are other people in the room? Because our last meeting, there were a lot of people there, and I can't see the crowd, so I don't know if there are a lot of people there today.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Thanks.
do you want to start by introducing yourself, Dora Jean?
I'm
I
sorry
am
to
Dora.
interrupt the meeting, but
No, thank you. Thank you.
I'm Dora Jean. I'm from Independence. I'm on this board.
I am Melissa Youngbauer, and I am the ADRC supervisor.
I am Sammy Becker, and I am the administrative specialist at the ADRC.
I am Ashley Brecky, and I am the nutrition and transportation coordinator at the ADRC.
I'm Alan Robertson from Blair, Wisconsin. I'm a member of the board.
Beth Killian from Arcadia, and a recently appointed member of the committee or the board.
I'm Mary Beck from Whitehall, Wisconsin.
And do those that are joining via video
sorry,
want to introduce? Yeah, so that's everybody here.
okay, I'm Jeannie Nutter. I'm on this advisory committee, and I'm also a county board supervisor.
And I'm Mary Frisch, and I'm from Arcadia.
Thank you all.
I'm glad you can hear me.
I'm Kevin Adams from the city of Arcadia, also on the county board.
Who is that?
Kevin. Yep. Okay, thank you
so
for,
there's no other people, it's a quiet meeting today?
yeah,
Okay, thanks. I just was curious because I couldn't.
see everybody. Yeah. Yep. So I'll just move into the congregate dining. I'm wanting to just kind of make people aware that, the state does give us the definitions of what these dining programs are. And so the congregate dining, there are two primary components of congregate or senior dining. One is nutrition, and the second one is socialization. So we have Boondocks, which is again doing the 5 days a week dining. We have Pine Creek, and we have Wannick Center Dining that are doing dining 2 days a week. And then we have two new sites that are opening in September. The one is Strum Dining, and the other one is Blair Dining. So we are able to
What is the date for Strum?
Strum.
September 13th.
Yep, September 13th is Strum, and it's September 20th at Blair. So the Blair is at Friendship First Community Center. And that is being catered by Ashley Pub. So we're happy that we are able to, we had the 5-day site in Blair at Rainbow, and with that closure, we're happy that we're able to continue dining at 1 day a week in Blair. So, one of the things to just let people know is the state also has provided us with very clear direction that takeout or carry-out meals are considered home-delivered meals. So again, when we talk about those two different programs, there is the home-delivered meals for the individuals that are homebound, and then there are the senior congregate sites. So there had been the practice that was started over the pandemic of people going to sites and carrying out food. We had decided, after assessing what our numbers were, where our budgets were, we had in March of this year ended takeouts at all of our sites. We had learned about a month or two ago that our Pine Creek site was still doing quite a few takeouts, doing actually probably more takeouts than dine in. So we had at that point given them a date of ending the takeouts on July 31st. So I want to let people know that there had been some people from that community. I think, most of the people that had not been happy with that decision had been from that Pine Creek community, and they had come to our Human Services Board meeting and public hearing back in July and voiced concern about ending that practice. At that point, we, meaning ADRC or Human Services staff, were instructed to review the situation and come up with any other possibilities that there may be, how to, make that, look at what could be done at that site, I guess is how I will, what I will say about that. Just to explore all options that could happen out of that Pine Creek site. Those options or those ideas that we come up with will be presented then at the Human Services Board meeting in September. So I just want to give people an opportunity, if anybody has any questions about takeouts or carryouts and that concerns that were voiced by that community. Is there anything anybody wants to talk about?
Yes.
This is Kevin Adams. I did have someone approach me, a community member, after the meeting that was not too happy and basically said, I'm going to take a meal out of there anyway. And what are you going to do about it? Call the police? Just thought I'd let you know.
Kevin, there's a lot of feedback from your device. What I understand is you said that after that meeting, which Kevin was at the meeting, and he said that, I believe what you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, but somebody basically said that they were going to do it anyway. Is that right?
That is correct.
Just so you know, Kevin, there's a lot of noise in the background. It's hard to hear what you're saying.
That is correct. Yep.
So
Beth also was going to say something, or Jeannie, both of you.
I just want to clarify, Melissa, that the state is firm in their rule that takeouts are considered home delivered meal, and you have to be assessed and qualified for a home delivered meal, correct?
That is very, yes, yes. Jeannie, you summarized it correctly. Yes.
Okay.
Beth, did you have a comment?
Yes, I had two different people speak to me, one from Arcadia and one from the Pine Creek site. And the Pine Creek person was saying that in one case, a husband is homebound and does not get out, but the wife is able to. So what the wife was doing evidently is going to get the meal and taking it home to the husband who is homebound, and also another neighbor who can't get out very much. And really disappointed because evidently the last meeting or the meeting they were at, it was brought up over and over and over how great the food is at Pine Creek, but they're disappointed that they're not able to eat the food. And I tried to explain that there are two different programs, but I did say that I would bring it up at this meeting. And the Arcadia person was kind of saying the same thing, there was a situation where a family member was homebound, and so what they would do is come to the Wannick Center and pick up the meals and then go and sit with the family member, and the 3, 4, however many of them together would be able to socialize, in that situation, which is kind of a moot point at this stage of the game. But I said I would bring both of those up. So I don't know really how to explain that, it's two different programs.
Right. Yeah. Again, I think Jeannie summarized it very, very nicely. These are rules that the state gives us. I think there are those few situations like what you're talking about, those unique situations, and it's hard for people to, I think, understand that. The message really is that they're two different programs. There's, options. The situation you're describing is that the home delivered meals would be available for those folks. Go ahead, Jeannie.
I'm sorry. There at the meeting, it was interesting. There was a man who said he was picking up some of the meals and taking them to people, but yet he did not want to be a volunteer driver to deliver meals around there. So, in my view, you can't have it both ways. You have to understand that the ADRC operates within guidelines that are put out by the state, and that and money for these programs come from the state. And when and we get far less money for home delivered meals, correct, Melissa?
I'm not the person probably to speak directly about that, Jeannie.
Okay, but we do get more money for congregate meals than we do for home delivered. And when people use takeout, that money from home delivered meals, we have to take money out of the home delivered meal pot to pay for those.
And again, with this increase in our home delivered meal needs, right, it's basically we're running out of money to pay for them. So to pay for those home delivered meals. I just do want to make people aware that the state is fully aware of the actions that we've taken in ending takeouts. It's consistent with what other counties are doing. Pam, who is our representative from GWAR or from the state, has reminded me that when these programs came out of the Older Americans Act in the 1960s. Takeouts were never a thing. Takeouts were never a thing until the pandemic. And of course, that's when everybody was taking out. And so I do think that people did get comfortable. It is convenient, but it wasn't an issue. And again, Pam just reminded me since this board meeting that if people were doing it in the past, they shouldn't have been, because it wasn't allowed. So I do think it's just, it's good to be in connection with Pam. Another interesting thing, and I will just make people aware of this as well, Ashley did go do a visit at Boondocks last week and learned that there was still some takeouts that were happening there. Walked in, and our flyer that we gave out in March was still hanging saying, no takeouts. That was up. So people were informed. People should have known. People were told. It's interesting. I did have a phone call at the end of last week, and the person that called identified herself as being a La Crosse resident who enjoys going to Boondocks, which that is allowed. You can actually live in Wisconsin and go to Minnesota and take part in senior dining in Minnesota. So that part is interesting, but she was advocating strongly for allowing takeouts from Boondocks. So I had asked if she had frequented sites in La Crosse. Interestingly enough, she hasn't. So That's interesting to me. But a few people have mentioned that, when I do try to talk to them about the state sets these rules and guidelines, and people, I've had a couple people that have talked about rules are made to be broken and the state doesn't monitor this or they're not here, and that's just not the case. And ethically, we have to follow what the state wants us to do. So just kind of wanted to make people aware.
I feel sad to hear that people would say to you, rules are made to be broken. It doesn't set a good precedent for anything, and rules are not made to be broken. We all have to live within rules regardless of who we are, although, there are people who get away with not following the rules, but I don't want to be a part of that. And I think the bottom line with Pine Creek is people prefer the food at Pine Creek to home delivered meals. So, and it's great. The food is great, but also people are missing the point of why we have congregate meals. And that is to bring people together so that our senior population is not living in isolation. And if you cannot get out, and you don't have an opportunity to go to a congregate meal site, then home delivered meals are there for you. And we got the survey that Guar did, and we should send it out again. Everybody, the home delivered meals got very high ratings.
Yeah, Jeannie, again, that.
And I will also. Sorry, and I'll also say when someone in the committee, kind of like what Jeannie says, I'm going to do it anyway or break the rules, there's several people that said things along the lines that I'm going to do it anyway, and that we should be setting that precedent and basically threatening, basically daring us, whatever, saying, it's very not a good thing to do.
I think,
Melissa?
yes.
You said this program started, in the 60s?
When the Older Americans Act was, yes. When the Older Americans Act came out in the 1960s,
How often has this program been tweaked and gotten feedback? Obviously, people are telling you of needs that they have that are probably not being addressed. And I'm wondering if the state is receptive to perhaps looking again at the program and seeing if there's some accommodations they can make for some of these people. I don't know that there can be, but it would be nice if there could be some input from, what you're seeing to the state so that the program isn't so inflexible.
Ashley too could possibly speak to this, but the state is aware of it. As far as that there are, some people that they're aware that of the concerns that were voiced by our county, like the Pine Creek community.
I think the issue,
I feel as though just going back to the core of the two programs that, it's a home delivered meal is the homebound population, and the sites, the congregate sites, it's that socialization component. So, I'm not sure. I think the state has been reviewing, I guess, just kind of what has come about from the pandemic.
Well, the state is well aware of it because it was never allowed prior to the pandemic, and then they made the exception to allow it to accommodate. But they said you can continue it going forward. It's just each carryout meal is going to be treated as a home delivered meal, and therefore will need to come out of C2 funds versus C1 funds. So it boils down to, can we sustain the home delivered meal program allowing all these additional carryouts as far as funding? And that's what a lot of the other counties are running into as well that have terminated it since, is they had to make a decision based on available funding for the rest of the year to be able to continue home-delivered meals without running out of money.
And I think that's fair, yeah. So if the county were to say we want to take additional money from the levy to pay for people to be able to have that convenience and walk in and get a meal, I think that is a decision that the board could make. That's what I understand.
Well, and my feeling is you have to be eligible for a home.
Jeannie, we can't, we can't hear you, Jeannie.
I'm not on mute. What the problem is.
Melissa,
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, my point is, if you're gonna have a home delivered meal, if you're gonna have a takeout, then you need to be eligible. I mean, the two programs are really critical to delivering services to our seniors. Congregate meal sites were developed for people to come together and socialize. And that's what a lot of people said at the meeting. They, we like to be together, blah, blah, blah. But there were some people that were coming to Pine Creek, getting a takeout and going back to work. And that's not the point of a congregate meal site. And that's when I think I said, or somebody said, if you're going to have takeout and go to lunch, then bring your lunch to work or go to Arcadia and go someplace. It's just, people are missing the point of what the two programs are for.
Well, and an interesting thing that came up again last week, I fielded another call from an individual from that Pine Creek community, and what they're saying is, well, we go 30 minutes before the meal, and we socialize, and and then we take out the meal. So that's what I'm explaining. Well, if you're doing that, and if you remember, some people said that at the meeting, that Human Services meeting as well, and I just explained, well, it's great you're doing that, but then really what the program is it's dining. So we're just asking to follow what the rules are as far as dining, and please consider sitting down and dining and eating with your friend or your neighbor.
Well, and I think people forgot that Pine Creek is wholly subsidized by the county, and the people that work at Pine Creek are employees of the county. I'm not sure how they're classified, maybe limited term or.
They're just part-time. Part-time county staff.
So
they're paid to cook and serve the meals. Yes.
Right. And
3 down there, I believe that do it.
I mean, I don't envision the state developing a third program called Takeout, because it's not in the spirit of what a congregate meal site was developed for. And the Older American Act was simply that, is to encourage people who can get out to get out and be with other people, because it's a serious problem in our county of seniors being isolated.
Melissa, how many of these people are fearful though of COVID? I mean, I'm restricted right now because of COVID to my home. And I mean, I think that could be a valid argument for some of these people.
So related to COVID, if there is illness, like what you're describing, if people are like fearful, if they're exhibiting or experiencing anxiety or any type of mental health concern that is preventing them from attending the sites, they would qualify for home delivered meals. So the state has made it very clear that it could be a physical concern that would prevent somebody from getting out of their home and coming to a site, or any type of emotional need, that they also would qualify for those home delivered meals.
If they're restricted by COVID. But what about the people who don't want to mingle because they're afraid they'll pick it up, is my point.
But
How many of
again,
those people who take
again,
out
they would,
meals
again, they
are
would
fearful?
qualify for home delivered meals.
Just having the fear of it and not
Yes,
having to
yes,
be-
because that would be an emotional, emotional concern. The state has been very clear, and going back to March, when we first, instructed the sites to close or to stop the takeouts, that was very clear, that any individual that was fearful of coming to sites, they could be assessed and would qualify for delivery. We are not getting that concern, though, out at Pine Creek. When we've explored the reason why people aren't wanting to do it, we are hearing of about 5 individuals that we are told have, it sounds like, some physical limitations. And so they were very much told, again, we will assess you for those home delivered meals. We were told of about 6 individuals, and again, this is just, talking to people, talking to the county part-time staff. They're telling of about 6 people that work and come in during their lunch break. I'm not hearing of anybody. I've not been contacted by anybody, though, that's saying we're fearful of coming in because of COVID.
The bottom line is people prefer the food at Pine Creek over home delivered meals. And
Right.
that is the bottom line.
That is correct. That was one of the things that when the Pine Creek person said. The food is great. Evidently, at your meeting was brought up how wonderful the food is versus the food coming from Strum, and it's cold and it's not as good, etc.
But when Guar did the survey, there were very few complaints about the food being cold and that they didn't like it. So, we just have to be cognizant of that's the bottom line. People prefer the food at Pine Creek over home delivered meals.
I will take, this conversation back to the 2 people that contacted me, and I wonder if Ashley Pub providing the food to Arcadia Independence, if, I don't know where Dodge fits into that, Pine Creek Dodge, but maybe that would appease them.
Yeah, I feel like Jeannie, and that survey that was done back at the end of 2021 is something that I keep reminding people of as well when I talk to them, because I do have some people, even that individual from La Crosse that called me last week, that's kind of the general complaint. Well, the food isn't as good, and I remind them it was nearly 90% of the respondents to that home delivered meal survey last year said the food was very good quality. Almost 90% said that the food comes to them almost always hot and almost always cold. To me, those survey results were very, very high. So you're right, Beth. It's a new provider. I don't know. Ashley has checked in with Ashley Pub, the recipients of those meals. So far, it seems to be going quite well. That Pine Creek area, you want to address just where that fits?
Yeah, so right now, the Pine Creek Dodge area is a part of the Trempealeau route, and that would come from Grandview, just because they're already going out there 5 days a week. Yep.
So do you feel that everything is pretty well covered so we can go on to number 7? Is there any more comments or that you would like to bring out? Anybody got any more to say?
I just hope people don't want to take out from Strum because the food's going to come from Sweet Temptations. I'll be there to remind them this is a congregate meal site.
Well, and that is the thing, that our new sites, when we open them in September, there will be no carryouts. The other thing, just so people are aware, it does require some more work. When we had the sites that were doing the takeouts, because they're two programs, they're very separate. So we had to do separate donations, separate accounting, separate registrations, all of that. So this just, I don't think it's going to be a thing at our new sites. Just like Ashley Pub, when they were furnishing the Wannick meals, when the pandemic, we were still kind of in, we were right in the middle of the pandemic when that opened, and there was a lot of takeouts that were happening at that site. There were some people that weren't happy. Ashley and I were at Wannick Center on Friday. I feel confident that that is not a practice that's happening at Wannick Center. It's just not. The numbers have gone down a little bit, but I feel like people understand what the site is intended to do and the purpose of it. So I don't feel that there's going to be a problem at those new sites. I just want to let one last thing. Pam, our GWAR rep, has been invited to attend the next Human Services Board meeting. So I think that will be good because she too can lend some, I think, insight, and some people can ask her if they've got questions, and she can explain as well. And I think having a person there that it's somebody that's telling us then what our requirements are, so she can respond. Yeah, she can respond to people. So okay.
So we shall go on to number 7, Senior Farmers Market Voucher Program eligibility and information updates.
So the Senior Farmers Market Voucher Program is something that's been around for a long time. That is a program where seniors can receive $25 of vouchers to be used at farmers markets anywhere in our state. They're issued by the counties, and then they can be used anywhere in the state. So you do have to meet 185% of the federal poverty guideline in order to qualify for those. Just to give people an idea of a household size of 1, that monthly income would be $2,096. Household size of 2 would be $2,823. So in 2021, we were able to issue 103 total vouchers out of 173. So far in 22, we have distributed 148 out of our 173. So yeah, we only have, I think the math is 25 to go. Yeah, so we're happy about that. We are hoping that we can distribute all of them this year. So it's kind of based on the county's size as far as how many vouchers people receive, and our number is the same last year as this year. So, but I think also it does have to do with the percentage that you're able to issue. So we would love to see, to be able to issue another 25 yet this year. We have all of September to issue them. I think those that are in attendance, we gave you one of the applications. So I guess spread the word. Let us know. We can do it via mail. So, and then we mail, people can return them via mail and send them to us via mail. So, does anybody have any questions about those?
Okay. Any more questions? If not, we're going to go on to number 8, Strong Bodies Update.
So Strong Bodies is our evidence-based fitness program that we started here this year. We had our first class in Whitehall. That was the beginning of the year. We've talked about that at previous meetings. And then we just started our second program in our county. That was started in Blair in August. And so Happy to let you know we have 10 registered individuals for that program in Blair this fall. So we are, again, this is one of these programs where we're hoping to be able to, increase the number of people that are trained and increase the number of times it's offered. So I would love to see, just kind of looking at the way things are developing, would love to see some people get trained then in that Strum area and to get that offered into the future in Strum or in that northern part of the county. So does anybody have any questions about that? The class meets 2 times a week. 10, I think, is a great number, so happy about that. We did offer transportation as well. That was offered, and we didn't have anybody that took us up on it, but
I signed up and I was gonna do it, but my leg was not cooperating too well on my right leg. So I bowed out, but I do it in my apartment, so I'm doing the exercising either way.
yeah. And it is not too late to sign up. So if you talk to people, let them know. It's been, I think this is going into the 3rd week, but people can still sign up and attend. So it's not too late, Mary. Okay. Okay, Dorjean just stepped out, but we can move on to number 9. It is the Bridges Health Update. So wanting to let people know that we are partnering with Bridges Health. That is a free and health wellness service clinic out of, I guess it's a partnership with Winona State students. So they are going to be starting their first clinic. So it's going to be offered select Thursdays starting on September 8th. Hopefully you've seen that, some information on that. It's been in our newsletter. It was in our last newsletter, and it's in our newest newsletter. But we're really excited to offer this. It's free services. Some of the, I think most attractive services are foot and nail care, ear check and cleaning, blood pressure checks, vision and hearing screening, and mental health referrals, massages. Yeah, so a lot that's going to be happening there. These are Winona State students that are being supervised by Winona State faculty. We have 2 appointments on the hour, and people can call the ADRC and schedule these appointments. So, and we are providing transportation. Ashley has really been the staff at the ADRC that's scheduling these appointments. Ashley notified me today that first clinic on September 8th is full. So
where are they meeting?
So that is at Friendship First in Blair.
Great.
Yeah.
Little Blair is becoming a hotspot for providing services to our seniors.
It is. Yes. Yeah, it really is. And they have made it known that they will increase the days if there is a need. So when we've been out and talking to people, when people have been calling in, we're really trying to make people aware of this. This clinic is for all ages, so it's for children too. So we're really the target.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's for youth as well. So we have done a great job, or Bridges has done a great job, and has translated our flyers and brochures so that the flyers are in Spanish as well. So we do anticipate that there will be a Hispanic population that will also be, wanting and using the services as well. So So tell people.
I have told a couple of people about Strum. Said I have told a couple of people about Strum, and were they ever excited? They said, really? And I said, I know it's starting in September. I wasn't sure of the date. But it's the 14th. Okay, are we ready to go on to number 10, planning for the future? ADRC Senior Fair update.
So we have not met since this really got going. So we are having an ADRC event October 12th, and that too is going to be in Blair. We have speakers that include Pink Chiropractic. They're going to be speaking about just nutrition, the importance of nutrition and the importance of being active. So they're really going to talk about just that living a quality life as you age. We have an individual coming from Heartland Hospice. We have Wajni Killian Funeral Home that's going to be coming and speaking about, again, planning for the future. We have ADRC staff that is going to be speaking about advanced directives and how important it is to get those documents ready. And we have our disability benefit specialist and elderly benefit specialist speaking about Medicare, specifically about Medicare open enrollment. So they're going to be there presenting, and then it's also going to be just a general overview of ADRC staff and what we do. In addition, there's going to be booths that are set up. So the Veterans Office is going to be there speaking about what all they do and what benefits might be available for veterans as far as burial, etc. We have Gunderson Lutheran that's coming and is going to be providing a healthy snack. And so that's kind of neat as well. So we're adding individuals that'll be there with those booths. But I think it's going to be a really great event. We're hoping that we're going to have a lot of individuals coming and joining us. We will be providing transportation throughout the county. So that's also an opportunity for people. This is going to be at that Friendship First Community Center in Blair. So does any? I think it's going to be a great event. Yeah.
It sounds wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Great
We
job.
used to have these years ago at the high school gym, and we had very great turnouts. But that's quite a few years ago.
Yeah, we're hoping. You do not require a reservation to come. So it's going to be a little uncertain. Like that Remember project, that required reservations because there was lunch. So we are hoping that we'll have upwards of 50 people that'll come to that event. So please help us spread the word.
It's October 12th, correct?
Correct, yes.
October
yeah.
12th?
Yep.
Okay, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
All right, and number 11, Fun Day Travels, Future Trip Ideas and Discussions. Is this for us?
It is, yeah. So Ashley is going to tell you about what she planned and what she did this month and what's planned for the future and get your input.
So part of the aging plan survey, seniors wanted more things to do, more outings, more socializing as far as, getting out of the house and doing things. So Melissa spearheaded a fun trip that we just took a couple weeks ago. Dean, our bus driver, and myself took about 7 ladies down to the Lady of Guadalupe Shrine. We did a guided tour of the grounds. We had lunch, and then we stopped at the sweet shop for some chocolate and ice cream on the way home. And we had a blast. People that didn't know each other were interacting and socializing with others. It was just a great time. So we decided to continue that, and I'm excited to say that on October, what day?
It is October 21st.
Okay. On October 21st, we're going to do another outing to Lark Toys in Wabasha, Minnesota. I have never been there myself, so I'm kind of excited for that one. But it is a family-run business that makes toys. They have an indoor carousel, they have a cafe on site, a bookstore, just a ton of different things. So we're gonna leave the area and try to be to Lark Toys by 11. Lunch is just kind of on your own, either bring something or you eat at the site. And then about 2 o'clock, we're gonna venture back this way. I'm excited because hopefully the trees will be changing colors and it'll be a beautiful ride along the river. So if anybody is interested in that, they can just call to reserve a spot with Sammy. Also, we're trying to do more in the community and get more people out to the community. So we are going to offer transportation to the Petrick Park's 50th celebration. So if anybody is interested or needing a ride, we will help get them there. We're also going to offer it up for the Apple Affair in Galesville because it's their big 40th anniversary.
I went there and we only had 2 people.
Yeah, so we're trying to make more, just trying to get more outings, get people socializing in the community a little more, and just have a little more fun. If anybody has any suggestions as to where our next destination might be, I'm open for that. Looking at maybe some Christmas lights in November, December, a couple up to Irvine Park.
Across.
Yep. We're gonna look for a couple nights to La Crosse, couple to Irvine. See if maybe we can coordinate some hot chocolate or something with that. But if anybody has any suggestions on where we go next, please let me know, because I'm all for that.
Does anybody have any suggestions today?
No, but I think it's great. And just a reminder for anybody who's listening, the Petrick Park event is Saturday, September 24th, 3 to 7. And there'll be lots and lots of fun things to do. Food, exhibits, kid stuff, music.
It's right at the Petrick Park. Yep, and Bruce Larson and the Rocky Mountain Band are gonna be there. So
Yes.
yeah. So anybody's interested in that, just call the ADRC and we'll get you scheduled.
I want you all to know, I was with Aunt Emily when she decided to give Petrick Park. It started out for children and FFA and all that in honor of her son that was, but yeah, so I've been through her through the long haul. I took care of her until her death. Pardon? She's gone again.
She lost her voice again.
No, we
Yeah,
can't
we
hear
couldn't
you.
We
hear
can't
you.
hear you, Jeannie.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, Dora, you better come to the event.
Well, I'm coming.
And there'll be a special exhibit of stuff regarding Joe Petrick, who was a 4-H leader in Clark County.
I have several pictures of him. Would you want them? Or don't they want?
Yeah, maybe. I'll see you in September. Bring them and I'll give them to Melissa Kono
Okay.
from Extension because she's been working on that.
All right.
Is that gonna be taxation of all the events?
What? Can you repeat that, Mary? I didn't quite hear you.
I said, is that gonna be a taxation of all the events? I mean,
Yeah, everything will be right at the park.
I know, but
so-
if people want to come and they don't drive,
Oh, yeah, there'll be, yeah, transportation will be offered.
Yep, I'm
Yeah.
offering transportation through the
Okay.
ADRC to
Good.
these events.
And our bus trips, just the trips to La Crosse, Eau Claire, Black River have been very highly attended as well, just so people are aware of that. So, you know, we're happy for that. We have talked, and it's very possible that we will have a need then to probably expand the number of trips so that's good. And if the demand is high for these fun day travel trips, you know, we may need to look at increasing that as well. So
Do you have a limited budget for this, or is there?
actually, right now, the transportation budget is doing quite well. We more are at the concern or need for drivers. We're in the process of reviewing just with our current drivers, their availability, and it's the demand for drivers is probably higher than what our current drivers can meet. So it's possible we might be hiring a driver in the near future.
All the
I was
trips.
just looking at my 2 dogs, and I thought a fun trip might be, and you'd have to work it out with the shelter, but to go down for an afternoon when they're all there and people can, you know, see the dogs and play with the dogs and cats, you know, might be kind of fun interaction for people who don't have pets, and it would be good for the pets at the shelter too.
Yeah. I've never been there. So.
How much is all the trips that will be going on?
Could you repeat that, Mary?
How much is the trips? How much is the cost?
Those
of
are
the
$4. Those trips
$4,
are
okay.
$4, yes. But then, of course, if people dine out or those costs would be additional. Like if for the people to go when they went to the shrine, they paid for their own lunch too. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to go on to number 12, Aging Plan 2022 update.
There's not a whole lot that I needed or wanted to tell people, but boy, this year has gone fast. I had recently met with the state and just reviewed our current progress on our goals. The plan, the aging plan, just to remind people, when we submit our aging plans, they're for a 3-year period. And so we are, 2022 is the first year in this plan. And so when I met with the state, they were very pleased. We are actually working ahead on a lot of our plans. One of our plans, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot, but we've talked a lot about some of our goals for this plan. One had to do with increasing access to senior dining in our county, and we've talked a lot about that today. We've got the Strum site opening, so that is working towards increasing equity and increasing access. As far as health promotion, we talked about strong bodies. We also have our dementia care specialist who is busy doing Boost Your Brain and Memory classes. She did a class in Arcadia in the spring, and she's going to be doing another class in Blair yet this fall. As far as our caregivers, we've got our dementia care specialist really busy with that. She did start an in-person support group. That started just this summer. So we do have an in-person support group for those caring for a loved one with dementia. That's an in-person group in Trempealeau. So that was just started this summer. She's also doing 2 virtual classes for caregivers. That's a powerful tools for caregivers. So again, that's done online. So people from throughout the county can do that virtually. That's starting in September. We have goals of racial equity. So I feel that Bridges Clinic is really hopefully going to make some strides. We have had the Hispanic community again reaching out and wanting that the flyers and that information is translated. So we're definitely going to be targeting that population. And transportation services, we are working to get volunteers to hopefully add on to those transportation services. That is a need. One last goal, advocacy is another goal. So we're wanting to offer training and offering information regarding advocacy. So every newsletter that we've had this year has had information about advocacy. And we also are working together with Chippewa and Eau Claire County. They're doing an advocacy day that is going to be on September 20th. So for those of you that have had a chance to look at the newsletter, if you look at page 4, there's information, but we are also offering transportation to this Chippewa Valley Advocacy Training Day with the guest speaker, Janet Zander, who I'm being told is excellent. But again, if any of you are interested, I would encourage you to go. Or if you know of individuals that might be interested, that's a really great opportunity. So maybe next year, that might be something that we're able to offer in our county. But we're happy that it's so close in Chippewa Falls next month. So.
But you're not furnishing any transportation?
No, we will. Yes, we are.
Oh,
so
you
people
are?
can have rides to that event. Mm-hmm.
Okay, are we moving on?
We can move on.
Public comments, no action will be taken. Number 14.
I will just say that I believe, I feel like we will need to postpone that number 13, that budget, because Deb is not here today. So she really is the person that I think can address that best. So let's no, that's fine. Let's just put that on the next agenda.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No.
I had it checked off, and so I went by it. Okay. Public comments, that's next. Are there any public comments that you know of that have to be brought up here?
Oh, look at our puppy.
So cute.
I have it on mute, but he joined us for the meeting today. This is Walter.
That's the cutest puppy ever.
Is that a lab?
He's a golden retriever.
Golden
and he has
retriever.
the hiccups right now, just like a baby gets.
Oh, how cute, doggy.
I thought it would cheer everybody up.
I had my granddaughter's little dog for a while yesterday, and she has discovered now that if you throw a ball, no matter how far, she'll find it. We had such a really good time. They're good for the soul.
They are.
Okay. Did we? So that next meeting. Our next meeting date, October 11th, 2022 at 10:30 a.m. And then I guess our meeting is adjourned.
Good job,
Anytime-
Dora.
Yes, good job.
No,